When the topic of Cyberpunk 2077 is mentioned, a lot of people just turn their nose up at it. They laugh and they just dismiss it, and these are the types of people who seemingly haven't given it that second chance after the rocky start that it had all the way back at launch. And to be honest, it is a shame that most of those people are going to miss out on one of the greatest RPG experiences in gaming. Is it the perfect game? No, but when Cyberpunk does something good, they do it better than anyone else has ever done it. You only have to look at Night City as an example of where this game truly shows its superiority. This city, Night City, where you spend the vast majority of time in this world, is the greatest city that we have ever seen in gaming, and that is a hill that I am willing to die on at this point in time. There are plenty of other things that this game does as well that it absolutely excels at, and even creates an experience that you will not find in any other RPG game. Today I aim to tell you why this game has ruined so many other RPGs for not only myself, but so many others with its sheer brilliance, and how other game titles come nowhere near close to it in many of its different aspects. Of course, if you do enjoy videos just like this, please be sure to consider subscribing. It really does help support the channel. Like I said in the introduction of this video, I will die on the hill that Cyberpunk has the greatest city in gaming history. Solo exploring Night City isn't just fun, it is an experience that no other game has been able to match so far, and that's why I will die on this hill. Night City is flat out the best ever city to be put into a video game, full stop. Most open world games will give you a big map, then fill about 70% of it with forests, deserts, or just copy and pasted villages. Now I hear that they're even procedurally generating parts of their map just to advertise the huge scale of it. Yes, if you haven't guessed already, I am talking about Starfield. Cyberpunk goes against these norms and drops you into one of the most continuous, hyperdense, vertically magical cities with zero filler. Every single street, alley, and rooftop is all built by hand. There's no procedural generation here. Every neon sign, every graffiti tag, every broken vending machine was placed on purpose and for a reason. You've got 6 massively distinct districts that feel different and alive. You have the city center with all of the corporate towers and holographic ads, Japantown with all of the different food places and the cherry blossom hologram. You have Hayward's lowrider culture and the Valentira murals, Pacifica's haunting half-finished resorts, Santo Domingo's endless industrial sprawl of factories and slums, and finally Dogtown's warzone chaos in the Phantom Liberty DLC. On top of that, surrounding the city you have the Badlands, where many different interesting quests and events take place. Within Night City you can walk 5 blocks and the architecture, music, gangs, wealth level, and even the entire atmosphere change completely. It's not just good world design, it is masterclass. And actually then there's the sheer amount of content that's packed in there as well. The city stacks on top of itself in a way that Los Santos, Novigrad, or even the Commonwealth could only dream of. Each area of the Cyberpunk map is incredible, having its own identity, purpose, and every one of them feels different from each other. A different culture to its neighbor, with the different gangs taking claim to all of these places. The area specific quests you can do for each fixer really allowed you to gain more perspective into the culture and actually the violence that really transpired within these different locations. So when you have a fantastic city, it only helps add to the immersion that you're feeling in this game. And I've never felt honestly more immersed into some of the characters and locations in a video game before. I think the immersion kicks off right away with the relationship that you have with Jackie at the start, a longtime friend that you finally make it into the big leagues with, only to have it all taken away from you within a flash. For the small time that you're actually with Jackie, CD Projekt Red did an incredible job of establishing that bond between you and him. Now the loss of Jackie really does help set the tone of the game, and Night City in general as an unforgiving city that shows mercy to absolutely nobody. As you progress throughout the game, you also meet various other characters with phenomenal layers of complexity and depth to them. Characters like Panam Palmer, for example, is the perfect example of a great romance within a game, whilst also allowing you to see how yours and hers relationship developed throughout the game, as well as the other romance-able characters are up there with some of the best content that you'll actually find within this game, as well as those you'll meet various other characters in your playthrough that really blow you away with the complexity and depth, as well as the brilliant quests they actually provide you with. One that is going to stand out for me and for so many others forever is definitely the Perales questline, and honestly just how mind-blowing and trippy this entire saga was is something that will always stick with me. Listen, I could sit here all day and tell you about so many different characters within this game that help add to that immersion level, but I would be doing not only a disservice to myself, but to this entire game franchise if I wasn't to mention Johnny Silverhand. When you first meet Johnny, you're more likely to want him dead, to be totally honest, although he technically already was. The choices that you make throughout this game can really influence your relationship with Johnny to a point where at the end of the game, you could have one of the most heartfelt endings you can imagine, or he can just entirely betray you. Johnny Silverhand is the most complex character in gaming. His perception of the world around him is so hate-driven that it blinds him, from losing Alta Arasaka to being defeated by Adam Smasher in his mind. What's actually left of Silverhand inside your own brain is a broken, bitter man who wants nothing more than to see the world burn, yet you can't quite help but warm up to each other in the end. Now, before we continue with how good this game truly is, I want to have a quick minute to talk about today's video sponsor, and that will be Aniba, the king of cheap, legit game keys, gift cards, subscriptions, DLCs, and game points. In the year of 2026, there is no point whatsoever in paying full price for a game when you can go onto an amazing site like Aniba and get it for a discounted rate. If you've been putting off buying the Phantom Liberty DLC, for example, they have it for a far cheaper price than what you would pay anywhere else. And so for everybody who is interested in using Aniba, I've got 3 exclusive codes that will give you 8% off at checkout that you can use here. I'd like to say a massive thank you to Aniba for sponsoring this video, and now we shall continue. On my first playthrough, this game completely and utterly blew my mind with the endings and how you had so many different options and choices that you were actually able to keep replaying over and over again, with Hanako endlessly waiting for you at Embers. In total, there were 7 unique endings that you could have in this game, and each of them had so many different moral consequences and different outcomes at the end. I have never seen a fandom debate and argue so much about what ending they truly believe to be the best and actually the worst. That is when you know you have created something special, something where debates will continue to arise even years after the game is even released, when people have still had so much time to digest and play through what they've seen, they still don't have a definitive answer. What makes it even better is just truly how open-ended this game is. With all of these different various endings, you're able to build your sort of headcanon to what you believe truly happened after it. Did V get the cure with Panam and the Aldecados when they went to Phoenix? When Solomon Reed allows V to get the cure, do they ever truly get their cyberware back? This game's endings are its most controversial triumph, dividing fans yet proving that layered writing forces genuine reflection on morality, identity, and even the cruelty of Night City. My personal least favourite ending being the suicide option, where it's just a heart-wrenching fade-out that captures Night City's cruelest truth. Sometimes the streets do break you when there is no fight left. My favourite ending being the star where V joins Panam and Aldecados in a final assault on Arasaka Tower, then leaves the city to seek a cure for his condition. I believe it's one of the most positive of all of the endings, and it fills me with the most belief that V is able to get that cure. Many people may disagree. They might prefer Don't Fear the Reaper. In that case, it proves that Cyberpunk did an incredible job of making us ponder which of these endings is truly the correct one, and what would be the one that V would pick. I don't think there's any game out there whatsoever that comes anywhere near close to having the same impact as the end of Cyberpunk 2077 did, and I would like you to challenge me in the comments if you think otherwise. Something that separates this game from all of the other RPGs that I've played in my time was when they gave us one of the greatest DLCs of our generation and possibly of all time in Phantom Liberty. Now, Phantom Liberty didn't just cement Cyberpunk 2077's legacy as gaming's ultimate redemption story, it stands as one of the greatest downloadable expansions ever created. This DLC wasn't any sort of tacked on filler, but a throbbing extension of Night City's incredible dystopia, giving us Dogtown an entirely new playable area. It continued the incredible theme of having some of the most memorable characters that you'll ever come across in your gaming journey, as well as an incredible story to accompany it. At its narrative core, the Phantom Liberty DLC delivered espionage intrigue of the highest order, whilst also remaining unmistakably cyberpunk. The 3 new endings introduced by the Phantom Liberty DLC override most space game paths as well, as stand among some of the most emotionally devastating conclusions in the series. It redefined what DLCs can achieve and also continued CD Projekt Red's incredible track record of producing the greatest DLCs ever made when they released both of them for The Witcher 3. It's not an epilogue or a side story, but a transformative addition that deepens the base game's themes, introduces a new district of unmatched atmosphere, delivered narrative weight that can rival the main campaign, and even pushes technical boundaries whilst remaining thematically coherent. It set a standard now that most modern expansions will struggle to approach. They didn't just merely extend Cyberpunk, they elevated it to an entirely new different level again, leaving competitors grasping at the shadows and ensuring that any future expansion will be forever measured against this standard. Cyberpunk didn't just redeem itself from a terrible launch, but it ascended to ruin gaming forever, establishing benchmarks of brilliance that no other RPG can scale without crumbling under comparisons. From the incredible locations that you were able to visit to the characters that you meet along the way, there is something so special about this game that you're not going to find anywhere else, and I doubt that you will be able to find this anywhere in the future until they release the sequel.